everybody, and welcome to the Star Podcast at AAERT in St. Louis. I'm Deanna Oakes, and this is Susan LaPooh, and we're going to get started by talking a little bit about who you are and what brought you here. So welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. So I'm Susan LaPooh. You can call me Sue. I am from New Jersey, and I have been a legal transcriber for about 15 years, but I've been a transcriber of all things for about 26 years.
Oh, wow.
And now the last 5 years, I've been a digital court reporter, and I'm now the director of testimony capture for a court reporting company that's based out of New York, but we are a completely remote company, so we focus all on remote proceedings.
Very cool. How did you get started in the company? Or, I mean, in the industry, I guess.
Well, it's funny because a big buzzword now is the side hustle, right?
Yeah.
Everybody hears about what are good side hustles. Well, actually, I didn't know the term back 26 years ago,
Right.
but I started transcription as a side hustle.
Okay.
I played the piano. I love to type. In fact, I wanted to become a stenographer or go into the ministry.
Oh, wow. Those are very different.
Very different. And I ended up going to Bible college. So after Bible college, I worked in a church for a while, and then I had my daughter. And I was like, I knew I wanted to be home with my daughter. And so I was 6 months pregnant, and a friend of mine said, hey, my daughter has a transcription company. I'm like, transcription company? What is that?
Right.
So told me all about it. Oh, you do that from home? Oh, you
Back
do that?
then, even,
Yes,
yeah.
back then. And it was back when the internet was
Oh, my gosh. Yes, the dial. Who's on the phone?
Yes. So I said, oh, I'd love to try that. I played the piano. I love to type. Like I said, I wanted to become a stenographer, but I took a different route. I said, oh, my goodness, this sounds very interesting. But I started out in entertainment transcription. Then I moved to more general. Then I moved to financial. Then I moved to police interrogations, things like that. Then I did insurance, and I finally moved to legal. But all those years, I did it as a side hustle. And I was raising my children, very involved in the church. And then in 2008, when we had the recession, my husband lost his job. And it was no longer a side hustle.
Right.
And I started working full-time doing transcription. And at that point is when I got into legal, because the work was there. It was lucrative to be able to work from home.
Yeah.
And that's where I started. From there, I got into, so I wanted to be a stenographer, but then I was like, well, could I be a digital court reporter? I mean, at that point, I've been doing it for 15, maybe 20 years. I could have gone back to school to be a stenographer, but I didn't have enough confidence to do that. So I thought, well, maybe I could be a digital court reporter. I'm typing what digital court reporters are taking down. Maybe I could learn. I couldn't figure out how to learn it. There were no schools at the time.
Okay.
And I had a few mentors, but they lived far away from me, so I couldn't figure out how to get into it. And one day, I saw an ad on Facebook for one of the companies I was transcribing for. They were training for the first time digital court reporters. And that was 5 years ago. And I joined the very first class. I became a digital court reporter. I reported for about 2 years straight. And then I came to the company I'm with now, and I'm in charge of all of our digital court reporters and all transcription. So something that started as a side hustle is now a full-fledged, awesome, wonderful career.
It sounds like it. I mean, what a journey to be on. And I think that's something that's really compelling for people nowadays. You know, people do want to be able to be in control of their time and their product and all of those things. And this career really gives you a flexibility that so many other things don't. And it's remarkable to me how long this has been around, because the sentiment out there is that this is something new.
No.
And it's really not. I mean, I'm just taken aback. I've spent the day talking to people and learning so much about really the longevity of, how long, I mean, almost sounds like since recording was a thing. It's been a way of capturing the record. Yeah.
So when I first started too, like I said, it was the get on the internet, get your files. But I also would drive 45 minutes to get cassette tapes. And I'd drive 45 minutes home, put the cassette tape in with the headphone, with the foot pedal, and I would transcribe that way as well. So, yeah, it has been around well before our internet age, and now, of course, with all the technologies, it's so much easier. You can work for people in every single state. I've worked in other countries, and while my daughter's husband is in the military, she was pregnant during COVID. I traveled to Europe undercover to get there for the birth of my grandson. The whole time I was there, I was still transcribing, and I was reporting. I wasn't swearing my witnesses because we would bring a notary because I couldn't use my notary because I wasn't in New Jersey, but I was able to do my job from Spain. So going from tapes all the way to being able to do your job no matter where you are.
Which is just remarkable. It's really remarkable. And it's exciting for people to hear about, because I don't think that people really understand the reach, the amount of freedom and possibility that the technology is affording us, you know? You don't have to carry a bunch of equipment around. You don't have to put anything in the mail. There's just so much security. There's so much ease right at your fingertips. Yeah. And what's your favorite part of the industry?
What's my favorite part? Oh, I truly love it. I truly love this industry, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to be part of it. Transcription met a need in my life and my family's need, but at the same time, it was always a challenge. So I'm curious and I'm nosy. My husband calls me the queen of useless information.
No, it's trivia. It's trivia.
Yes. But the thing is, I think my favorite part of the job is that it isn't the same thing every day.
Yes.
And you have to be, and being a curious person and wanting to know things, it scratches that itch.
Yeah, definitely.
So when I was a transcriber, yes, there were days that you're sitting at the computer literally for 10 hours a day listening to people speak. I thought I had these wonderful long conversations. I had to go right to bed. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And I hadn't spoken to anybody, but I listened to people all day.
Right. Yeah.
But so during that time, it was being able to hear cases about so many different things that I personally would know stuff about because I'm the queen of useless information, but most people wouldn't know anything about.
Right.
And you learn so much. Then going into court reporting, it's an honor to be able to be part of accessing justice for people.
I agree.
And it's an honor to be able to, listening to the Innocence Project this morning, I was so inspired. I mean, literally in tears, to think that we place a small part in what people go through, good and bad. It's could be the best day of their life, could be the worst day of their life, depending on how that case goes. Right. And we're there for that. Right. And we're part of it.
Yes.
So I think now the thing I love most about what I do is helping other people come into the industry and have the same joy and passion that I have for it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love having the opportunity to tell somebody about, you could do legal transcription. Yeah, you could do court reporting. Well, no, I have to become a stenographer, and it's this and that, and I have to go to school, and I don't know if I can afford it. Well, you could do this too. You know, there's so many ways you can get involved.
Yeah.
And mentoring young reporters, mentoring and answering questions for people who are new in transcription, I really enjoy that now.
Absolutely. Yeah. It sounds like, especially since you've had such a vast array of experiences, honestly, I have to know, how could you go from being in like a Hollywood setting, I can't think of what the word is, but, filmmaking, and then I would never leave.
I have to say, it's funny, when I started doing the transcription, and I was doing shows like crime drama shows and all of the morning entertainment shows. I did interviews for 3 different presidents.
Wow.
Yes, and we're not talking about what you see on TV. We're talking about the behind the scenes. So they might do a 10-minute interview, but they might have spent 30 minutes talking to them, and then they take the best parts.
Right.
We would transcribe all of it for them to have the document to take the best parts.
Right.
So it was like you were literally there behind the scenes with them, and they would, when they're actors, so when they get on, they get on. Right. They're acting.
Yeah.
But during that time, they'd have the moments when they were just normal people, and you'd be the person there typing that. You'd be like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm in the same room with, Bill Clinton or George W. Bush. Those were 2 of the ones I did. So I really enjoyed that, but there was always this idea of, like, legal was the pinnacle.
Okay, yeah.
so for me, the transcription went through all those different stages to get to legal, which to me was the pinnacle of transcription, a transcription career, because it is so serious. It can make or break a person's case, which can make or break their future.
Absolutely. And it's so important to our entire society. I mean, the justice system is really important, and being a part of it is very rewarding. And I mean, there are so many ways, like you said, to be a part of it. When, young people are kind of trying to find their way and maybe don't know what they want to do, I'm always interested to see what would you, as a very experienced individual in this field, say to them?
So it's interesting that my daughter, she has a 2.5-year-old, and this is the daughter who lives in Spain, and she has started to do some transcription because she's staying at home, and in Spain she can't work in Spain, and there are not jobs on the base, so they're always looking for work. So she's able to do this work, and so I've been able to mentor her, and obviously she saw me do it for so many years,
right.
and so she had an idea about it. But seeing her saying, okay, let's take this blank piece of paper, or it's not a piece of paper, this blank screen that has nothing on it, and when you're finished, you're going to have told a story here, but the words have to be right, the punctuation has to be right, you have to make sure that you're following the rules, and to see her be able to accomplish that is so rewarding to me. So I would say to young people who are interested in the career, and I would say this to older people too, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people come into transcription by accident almost.
You are not the first person to say that. I agree, for sure.
So we need young people. We really do, because we all know that our ranks have dwindled in our stenographic community. A lot of them are in my age group. I'm not ready to retire yet, but I see it. I see it. But a lot were, during my time, it was very, very popular to go into stenography. So we're losing there. We don't have the number of digital reporters because we were in the courts, and the courts were covered, and they had enough. So you didn't necessarily need them. Transcribers, where it was kind of like, I do an hour here, I do an hour there. There's not as much work because it was just in the courts. But now it's in the courts, it's in the freelance market. We're losing retirees. We need to get more people in. So I would say I would have two different messages. One for the person who might be like, maybe I could fall into this. Like, maybe I could do that. Are you curious? Can you work independently? Do you know how to do good research? Do you have good grammar? Are you a critical thinker? Can you hear well? Yeah, because that's important. If you have those things, and you have good English skills, good grammar skills, and a good ear, what we call a good ear, give transcription a try.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's going to start and have that progression because legal transcription has certain requirements, and there's schools now that you can go to school for it as well.
Yeah.
Find a mentor. There are some companies out there that will work with newbies. There are some companies out there that will work with brand new transcribers, and if you have the skill, they will invest in you and get you there. So if you're older, and it might be something you fall into. If you're a young person and you want to be in control of your own future, so many young people now, what's their favorite thing to do? Travel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, both my daughters are in their 20s. My other daughter, if she could wave a magic wand, she would have a van and travel around the country and be going to Europe, for months at a time, so forth and so on. So young people are looking for a lot more flexibility and freedom.
Yeah.
And you can do that in this career.
Yeah, you sure can.
And so I would say, if it's something you're interested in, seek out a school, seek out mentors. There's Facebook pages, there's AAERT, there's STAR, there's the NCRA. I mean, there's so many resources out there, but you have to do the work.
Totally.
It's not going to come and fall in your lap.
Right.
But that's also what makes a good court reporter and a good transcriber, somebody who's tenacious and is going to go get the information.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if I'm in a deposition and somebody says something and I'm like, well, I don't know what word he said, what am I going to do? Just say, well, I didn't know that word.
You're gonna
no,
Google it.
I'm going to Google it. I'm going
Yeah.
to do the research. I'm going to ask them. I'm going to take control of the situation and get the answers I need.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. If you have that desire, that's going to show. If you will go out there and find the resource, because they're here, AAERT, like I said, STAR, NCRA, Facebook groups. I've belonged to multiple Facebook groups. Very helpful people. If you're willing to do that, you can 100% make a career out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really great about this community is that we do work together. We are a niche community that
Yes.
has just constantly leaned on each other to get to where we are. And I always joke, what do people do before Google? Because you said you have to be a good researcher, but I'm like, I don't know that I am. I just use the internet for everything because I don't speak Latin, And so I'm like, I don't know what that means, doctor. But luckily, you can, phonetically spell it.
Yes.
And what's really cool about the software too is that, I am a stenographic writer. I don't have to know what you're saying, but if I sound it out,
Yes.
it comes out because my dictionary is smarter than I am.
Yes.
So it's really cool. I love the way that technology has helped us become better at our jobs, right? I mean,
Yes.
I have heard of people, 20 years ago that they would have to call the doctor's office and say, what does this mean or whatever it is because the tech wasn't out yet, And
Or what about the Encyclopedia Britannica salesman?
Oh,
they
my
would go
gosh.
to door to door, and people had the beautiful set.
we totally
Why?
did. We totally did.
Because that was the
Yeah.
only way to research.
Oh man, I can remember being out like at a baseball game or something, and my dad had like a pocket notepad and was like a list of things we had to look up when we were kids. I'm not kidding. Write it down. We got to look it up. It was like so silly. I mean, a great concept
Yeah.
and a good lesson, but so much work involved.
Yes.
I don't want to work that hard.
No.
Like,
No,
just
and
tell
look
me.
at the difference. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's part too of what has made the career so accessible as well, because technology is, we're never going to be gotten rid of. If any of us are worried that we are not going to be necessary anymore, we will be necessary.
Yeah.
Will our jobs change? Absolutely.
Yes.
Because technology is going to help us.
Yeah.
So thank God we don't have to carry around the 20-pack of, Encyclopedia Britannicas to do our job anymore.
Can you imagine? No, for sure. And I liken it to all kinds of anecdotes, but like the dishwasher, the dishwasher did not, almost unfortunately, take my job of cleaning my kitchen away. You know what I mean? But man, if I didn't have that dishwasher, I would be so bummed out, So it's
Yes.
just it's a tool to help us be more efficient.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
really love that aspect of just the positivity that we have in this arena together when we collaborate and we just talk about, how we've gotten to where we've gotten and learn from each other,
Yeah. And I think when you talk about community and camaraderie and working together, we all heard it during the pandemic. Oh, there's going to be a lot of work with the backlog and, the number of lawsuits and things that are going to come through COVID. So what has happened, the workload has gone up.
Yeah.
And we need each other to get the work done.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't stall justice.
Exactly.
And so for us to be able to work together, there's work for all of us. Every format of how you take down the record, every type of reporter is of utmost value. What really matters is the quality of the work the person's doing.
Yes.
So
totally.
and then I need a good partner in my transcriber, right? Because I'm a digital court reporter.
Mm-hmm.
So I do some of my own transcripts, and then some I have transcribers who do with them, and sometimes I have a proofer. They need to be just as good at their job.
Totally.
I need to depend on them.
Yeah.
And then they depend on me because I give them work, helps pay their bills.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we had a great conversation early this morning, sitting at just having breakfast. And you do steno, I do digital. But we're both talking about, and we're both like, oh, this, because we're so excited about what we do.
Right.
It's just a different way of taking down, but we're doing the same job. And it's because we love this profession so much that we are colleagues.
Yes.
We can work, we work together. You were giving me, I was like picking your brain, because you have so many experiences that I haven't had yet, and that's wonderful. And for me, when I talk about transcription, separate from, because when you take down your steno notes, you create the transcript. So transcription is kind of different to send that out to somebody to transcribe. So when I talk about that, you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting to me. We're learning from each other all the time.
No, absolutely.
All the time.
And, I think the more common nomenclature for stenographers is a scopist. And so I don't know if that really exists in the digital world, but that's exactly what, people need, a team of people. And you were saying, too, you have to be good at grammar. Well, listen, I passed all my classes, but the English language, crazy town.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I need my proofer, and I need her to tell me so many things I didn't know I didn't know, you know? And it's marvelous to be able to sort of pool together your expertise and kind of, we all work together. We're stronger together. We got to say it every time. We really are.
Really, truthfully, because I'll be honest with you, I don't always care about the comma. You know what I mean? But my proofer really cares about the commas.
Yeah.
She loves commas.
I know.
She loves the correct punctuation. Sometimes I'm like, does that really matter that much?
Yeah.
But so she makes me better.
Yes, exactly.
When I'm able to work with her. And, I still want to provide the best transcript I can.
Absolutely.
But sometimes, she may not want to. I had one reporter, actually. She was a new reporter. She was great. I thought she was super wonderful in the room. She couldn't stand doing the reporting because she'd get anxious and she'd be nervous about it. You wouldn't know it. She was wonderful in the room. She would take great annotations. Her audio was awesome. She loved doing the transcript. She said, Sue, I don't really want to do the reporting part. I love creating the transcript.
Yeah.
I love the proofing of the transcripts. Yeah. That's what I have a passion for. So even though she was really good at doing the reporting part, her passion really lied with the transcript side of it.
Right.
So it's kind of cool to say, okay, she would have never learned about transcription if she never learned about reporting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, they do go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. And the comma, it just was making me think, too, there's always going to have to be somebody there to navigate, even with all of the tools in our toolbox. We have to use those tools, right? They don't just function on their own.
Yeah.
They don't just walk
There's no
into
robot
a
that's doing the deposition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet. I don't know.
But my favorite analogy, when it comes to grammar specifically, is the let's go eat grandma. So if you don't put a comma before grandma, you're eating your grandmother, and it's just something that people don't realize. Those are the nuances that we as humans are able to, make sure come across correctly. And that's not something that you can just walk away from and hope that, you figure it out, because people say crazy things. They speak in very weird patterns and, think of Ross, from Friends. You know what I mean? The cadence is just, so there's so much security in our field.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to us as leaders and people that are, involved to spread the gospel, if you will, to get out there and generate a buzz and get people excited about, being in the workforce. And the thing is, this is a really good time too, because people are tired of being underpaid. And you have so much autonomy when you are in this realm. You are able to decide when and where and how much,
if it benefits you and your business goals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And another side note on that, we need people. So what happens when that happens, it also adds a need, which then means you can ask for a higher rate.
Yes.
Obviously, you have to provide excellent work.
For sure.
This is not something where, I make a few dollars here and there.
Right.
That's not what this business is. And you don't have to be afraid that you're going to make all these investments and it's not going to be profitable. It will definitely be profitable. Every day you're going to do something different. Every day you're going to learn something new. And, you have the control over, as a freelancer, I'm going to take this job. Or you know what? I got some transcripts and I'm feeling maybe a little bit, I want to get these done. I'm not going to take a job tomorrow because I want to work on my transcripts. Yeah. Or you say, you know what? I'm going to go and take the weekend and I'm going to go away for a few days.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to, the fact of the matter is, if you live in a mobile home and you have good internet service, you can work anywhere around this country that you want.
Absolutely.
And you can do this job from anywhere. And now that we're doing remote proceedings, you can be doing that from anywhere as well. It's not just the transcription. It can be the reporting as well.
Yeah.
And you pick and choose. I like to do this type of work. I'm going to focus on that type of work only. You know, I would like to do more remote. I mean, you have the ability, and it's a give and take. You know, if you say I'm only going to do remote, well, then that might affect what you have available to you, but you can make that decision.
Yes.
You decide what's
Right.
best for your future.
And who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just
Exactly.
the best part of
Yeah.
it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say has been your biggest hurdle throughout these years?
Oh, my biggest hurdle.
Or biggest accomplishment, I think, has a better
Oh, okay.
spin to it.
Oh, my biggest accomplishment. To be honest with you, right now in my career, I call all of us and the people who are doing this work really pioneers right now. Because, like I said earlier, digital court reporting has been in the courts for 20 years. Not in every state, but in a lot of states.
Oh, even longer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were pioneers then.
Yeah.
Because it added another format, just like voice writing did at a certain point. That was a pioneering. And before that was stenography, was a pioneering.
Yeah.
We are pioneers again because all of the technology and the remote proceedings is so new. And so to me, the biggest accomplishment, I hope, maybe I can't say it's an accomplishment yet. I hope when I retire, I can look back and say, I helped make it easier for some of the people coming behind me.
Yeah.
Because I was a pioneer.
Yes.
Because I met the hurdles. I went above to make sure that I helped other people accomplish. And the people that I helped get to where they are, I kept their quality the same as like a steno. To me, stenos are MVPs. Because, as I said, I would have been one.
Yeah.
If my life had gone differently.
Yeah.
So when I look at a stenographer and I know the passion they have, the seriousness they take their profession, I want digital reporting to be the same. People to feel that same level of passion, that same level of responsibility, that same level of professionalism. And so for me, I think my biggest accomplishment so far has been that I have started to I've trained some people who knew nothing about digital court reporting or transcription.
Right.
And they're
As
in the
most
industry
people
now.
don't. Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope when I retire, I can look back and say, I helped our profession become seen at that gold standard, just like stenography and just like voice writing and just like digital. We court reporters are the cream of the crop. And I want to make sure I did my part
Yeah.
to make sure we hold that standard high.
Absolutely. Leave your legacy, you know? And I think that it's no matter what it is, right? Because there are bad doctors and bad, you know, I've said it before, but bad presidents. So, you know, it does come down to the person that's doing the job, whatever job it is. And so you're never going to be able to stop bad individuals or, you know, incompetency. Like, that's just not something that we can do. But what we can do is spread positivity and education and make sure that we provide a platform so, like you said, the next generation can build on top of that.
Yes.
And then we just become even more solid when we work together.
Yes. I 100% agree with you. The fact is that no matter what, court reporting isn't going anywhere.
Right.
And no matter what, there are going to be people doing the job. Let's all do our best.
For sure.
Whichever way you learned to do it, do your best. Hold it up to your own integrity as a person. And then as an organization, I hope that we also give the support and the tools and the resources that people need so that they can meet those expectations. Because if you don't know what the expectation is, how do you meet the expectation?
Yeah.
So let's set a standard. Let's say this is the goal.
Yes.
Just like a stenographer, you know, 225 words a minute, right?
Yeah.
There's a goal.
Yes.
Because we want to make sure people have a basic level of competency. Let's all make sure we're at the basic level of competency, and let's all shoot it out of the water.
Absolutely.
Let's all constantly be trying to do better.
Yes.
You know, and there's so much work out there.
Right.
So we all can do so well. We can help others who need us.
Yeah.
And we can work together.
Yes. And that is my favorite thing about this community is the working together part. It's
Yeah.
just really remarkable.
Yeah.
And I really thank you for taking the time
Ah.
to chat with me. It's been really great. You've had such a long career and a lot of wisdom to impart. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. Is there any last words you want to say to the community out there?
I just want to say thank you again for talking with me. Like I said, I started out just as a mom wanting to be home with my daughter,
Yeah.
and thinking kind of the boat had passed me by because I didn't go to stenography school,
Right.
you know? And here I am 27 years later.
Yeah.
And it's the most wonderful career. It really is. It's the most wonderful group of people. It's so challenging. Every day is exciting. It's challenging. Some days are exhausting.
For
But I
sure.
would never, ever wish for anything better. And I'm just so thankful that although my path was different, that I've been able to be part of this wonderful community. And I
Yeah.
just look forward to all the things that are to come, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of exciting things ahead.
There is, absolutely. Well, thank you again, Sue. It's been
My
really
pleasure.
great to meet you and to
Aw.
collaborate. I just look forward to seeing you in the future and learning from you.
Oh, thank you.
With that, of course, there is more to come on the next one. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.